So how are we doing in terms of reaching out to our wider world and community in mission? Superstars is a massive effort each month. Large numbers overall. We've identified 8 families who are coming regularly who wouldn't otherwise be attending any form of church. So it's a lot of hard work, but there is some real progress and engagement going on there, for which we're very grateful. Many of you know that the Beacon Mission Group have occasional drop-in meals. They're developing some really good relationships with a number of families who don't otherwise have links to church. The All Sorts Mission Group is plugging away at film afternoons and events like Christingles and pancake parties and so on. We sometimes hear updates from those groups in church life. I want to hear from a few other groups this evening that we don't often hear from, but people who've stepped out. They've had a go at this failing business, and sometimes they've been failing forward, sometimes they've been succeeding. Andy, do you want to kick us off just with a quick sort of snapshot of what the men's cell have been doing, and then Mark Beasley is going to come and share something about his cell group. So Andy.
I'm quite enthusiastic about this because the men's cell group is like, I've had more fun in this cell group than I've had in the previous. And so the pattern is that
I'll be offering pastoral care to people who
Okay, what do we do? Well, most months, if we have 2 evenings where we have a straight Bible study, which is for the core members, 9 or so core members who follow the Lord, and that's great. We have a Bible book club at Belmore once a month. We go to Belmore and do a Bible reading, discuss it like you would a book. And that appeals to a slightly different group, and we get some fringe people coming in, and we don't believe we're working too hard. And on the 4th week, we do a film night or something, and sometimes it's quite a good film, and sometimes it's a high body count, and we have a lot of fun. But it's a great blokey bloke, a great group in some ways. Right, last autumn we ran a Life Explored course at the Atherley. That was great. With a bit of help from Dan, we invited a dozen or so guys that we knew, maybe more. Of whom I think 6 or 8 turned up at least once. 3 came to all the sessions, and 1 or 2 are becoming good friends. And that's been a huge joy and a privilege to see guys who were complete strangers and very atheistic and outlook in some respects, joining in the group and becoming a real blessing. That's been great. We don't obsess too much over success and failure. I think at my age, you realise that they're in God's hands anyway. Only He knows what they are. We do try and follow the Lord, and Chris and Rob and I meet usually on Monday mornings at about 6:30 to pray for the group and to try and discern what we should be doing. Next term, the plan is that after Easter we'll alternate between a Bible study 1 week and something fun and social next week, so that we can try to build some more relationships with some of the guys who, we know and don't come on. And then maybe in the autumn we'll do Christianity Explored perhaps, or something like that, where we invite people along. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but we'll give it a shot, and we'll have a lot of fun doing it. And I'm so grateful so many guys are here in our group. I'm so grateful for you guys for making me welcome. It's been great. Good. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Andy. I hand over to Mark.
As most of our cell live near the green space, which is that way, called the Boney, next to the church, last summer someone suggested we take a practical interest in it and in its care and upkeep. So after liaising with the council, we've been able to do some work in there, mainly shrub clearance to make the corner nearest to the church and pathway into the churchyard feel safer and more welcoming. Also at our request, the council has put up some new anti-dog fouling signs in the green space, and they're in the process of repairing the lamp. People have sometimes stopped to chat while we've been there, which has been great. These sessions have also included litter picking and prayer walking. So we've learned that by starting something prayerfully in a small way, we can make a real difference. And it has definitely added something to the life of our cell.
Great, thank you, Mark. It's been wonderful to see that developing. I think I'm going to start calling you the Boney Cell. And of course, care for the environment is one of the 5 marks of mission, so I'm really pleased that group are taking on that sort of responsibility and ownership of that area. I would love us to become an eco-church. Our Rocha, one of our mission partners, has a category for eco-churches. I would love us to become an eco-church. I'm looking for someone to step up and sort of lead us through that process. So if you feel that might be you, then do let us know. Penny, do you want to come and give us an update on Uganda, a quick update, and then Amy's going to come and share about High Street as well.
One of the most important aspects of our partnership link with Bubudengo Parish is the making and development of relationships, friendships. And over the last 30 or so years, Andy and Helen Taylor have done some tremendous work establishing the link and building up some of those friendships. Each time someone from our church has visited, more contacts are made. And then each time we've had people come to stay here in the parish from Uganda, again, that has significantly strengthened the link. When Katie, of course, last July we had the delight of taking 5 other people with us to Uganda. So a group of 7 of us went to Uganda in July last year. We had great fun. And when Katie and I returned in February this year, on our first Sunday in Bubudengo, we looked around us and we realised that the number of people there that we have meaningful relationships with, that number had increased. And the fact that 7 folk from St James had given up their money, their time, and in some cases their holidays to go there had meant an awful lot to them. What was interesting was that during the trip, some of the group felt a bit despondent at times, feeling that they weren't achieving very much. How could they possibly make a difference? And actually, talking downstream about failure, I think I felt that I'd failed too in providing the right sort of programme for the group. That some of the group wanted more of this or more of that. But in fact, Katie and I still saw, in spite of all those things, Katie and I still saw the impact on our return visit in February in those friendships and relationships. And I think that in any sort of mission situation, we might not always know that we're having any sort of impact. We may feel we've achieved nothing, but if we are prepared to step out of the comfort zone in prayer and with a heart to serve the Lord, then He will use us. But we might not always know how. We just need to go and be prepared to be ourselves, be the unique people that He has made us to be. Thank you.
Hi, I don't want to share a little bit about the High Street. A couple of weeks ago, at our staff lunch, we meet together for lunch once a week, Dan was talking about this idea of failing. He's like, has anyone got anything they failed at in church recently? And I was like, yes, the whole of my curiosity in the High Street. So I thought I'd share with you what's happened and a bit about my heart, about what's going on. So as some of you remember, a couple of years ago, nearly 3 years ago in fact, I stood in front of a church at the Vision Day for the first time and sold you a vision of St James having a presence on Shirley High Street. We talked about imagining what that could look like. We talked about the use of third space, about how we reach people who would never walk the 100 or so metres up Church Street. So here we are at my probably last APCM, without this vision being realised. So I wanted to spend just a few minutes, I promise it'll be a few minutes, telling you some of the story of the last couple of years with the High Street and what I've done, what I've learnt, and what I hope you'll take forward as a church. The first thing I spent a lot of time doing over these last 3 years or so is praying. So praying on the High Street, praying walking up and down the High Street, praying sat in coffee number 1, praying sat in the Hungry Diner, just sort of praying at loads of different places on the High Street. And at first, I'm not going to lie, I spent a lot of time wondering if I was just wasting my own time and if there was something else I should be doing. But God reminded me of the role that prayer plays time and time again at key points in the Bible. And he also reminded me that behind every big movement of the Spirit, there's been a big group of people who've been committed to prayer. For example, before the Welsh Revival in the early 1900s, if you don't know anything about the Welsh Revival, you have to look it up. It's amazing, like 1904 to 1905. Hundreds of people in Wales, thousands of people in Wales came back to the Lord. And that started with a group of 4 older ladies who'd been praying faithfully for years before that happened. And if you look at the stories of revival across the globe, so in the US and Azusa Street and the revivals of the Wesleys, it's always started with people praying. I'm not saying that our vision of Shirley High Street was to start mass revival. I mean, that would have been nice, but I hope you get my point about prayer being a cornerstone. And just we saw a small answer to prayer was in our dealings with the guy who coordinates the market on a Thursday. People will remember the last 2 Christmases we've been up there. And we were praying that someone would be sympathetic to us, and when we said we'd like a stall but we don't want to sell anything, we just want to hang out with people, they wouldn't go, well, that's ridiculous and you're taking someone else's livelihood. And the guy we spoke to was great and gave us a free pitch and brought all the stuff up for us, so that was a real answer to prayer. And I know through conversations with some of you weren't really sure what we were doing down there because it didn't look like we were doing a lot. We weren't sort of handing out church flyers or doing anything like that, but we were there to have conversations with people, to pray with people, to offer people a glimpse of something different and something new. In Christmas 2015, we had well over 100 prayers on our prayer tree, most from people who wouldn't think about praying in their day-to-day life, that we brought up and had that side of the church, next to our massive tree there. But that was 100 prayers that were prayed that might not have been prayed before. Some of them were like quality prayers about praying for gold coins for Christmas, but some of them were really deep prayers that people had obviously longed to pray but didn't know how. And the second thing that I've learned and that's been crucial to me has been team. There's been a great group of people who have listened to me and listened to the vision and signed up to be part of that. So I really want to thank you if you've been one of those people who sat with me in various places on the high street or in my lounge or in different places and talked with me about this and dreamed dreams with me. So thank you for those of you who've done that. About a year ago we started meeting regularly and exploring options, a sort of group of 5 of us. We started having conversations with other people, those who are local and those who are further away in London. Having people around who started to look seriously at what we could do on the high street was crucial. Community was what we were desperate to start building, but that actually started with us as a team. And one of the main reasons I'd love us to learn this as a church, and I will certainly learn from this, is that other people are just crucial. And I forget that sometimes. I get a bit wrapped up in my own head and just go off on my own. Because without support from others, actually, we're nothing. But wouldn't that be amazing if we could do that as a church family, pull together more? I'm not saying that all of us need to go and do children's work, although maybe some more people would be nice, yeah? I'm not saying we need to go and serve tea, because there'll be no one left to serve. We'll be able to serve tea too, if we're all serving tea. But wouldn't it be great if as a church family we were a team properly? We knew exactly what each one of us were doing. The mission community I was part of in Bristol, which is one based around location, not based around kind of different mission areas, had a tagline in how we supported each other in mission, which was, your neighbour is important to me because they are your neighbour. That's why we support each other in our mission. And wouldn't that be great if we said that about our different mission areas in the church? And finally, I learned that dreaming big is good, and it's okay to not work it out as you'd imagined. I'm not going to lie, when we realised that this wasn't going to go any further in October, I was heartbroken and I cried quite a lot. It took me time to grieve for what I thought could have been and what I thought was going to be. And it took me months to work out what God was playing at. And I was quite numb in those months and couldn't really talk about it. And I still walk up and down the high street and I see the potential of what could be. And that potential doesn't end with my curacy finishing here. Rather, my prayer is that it carries on and grows. I have no doubt that God is calling us as a church to the margins, to the places which are tough and to the places which need his kingdom. And for me, I hope that at the end of this sort of part of that project, that we as a church have begun to talk more frequently about that area of our parish. And my prayer is that as a church you will see something grow and develop into